Welcome to your Barbados Today Evening News Update for Monday, September 27. Health and Wellness Minister Lieutenant Colonel Jeffrey Bostic this evening appealed to Barbadians to be more patient amid increasing pressure on the country's resources to respond to the ongoing spike in COVID-19 cases. He was responding to a viral video showing a family lying on the ground at the Blackman and Gollop isolation facility, complaining they had no other option. But Minister Bostic insisted this was not the norm, as he explained that the facility was anticipating 8 positive patients, but a number of children turned up with the adults to be accommodated.
The families were approached and they were offered chairs for the children to sit on until the management of the facility was able then to determine how to deal with that particular problem. But they decided that they were going to lie on the ground, and that is what we are seeing in the video. And I want to stress that it is not the normal standard of service delivery at that institution or at any of our isolation facilities. And so it is regrettable what happened, but it was a matter that was out of our control at that time. But I want to remind us all, we are in a pandemic. We are fighting a war against COVID. And when you are fighting a war, there are things that will not be perfectly executed. Those on the ground will have to make decisions based on what is happening at a particular point in time.
Minister Bostic said he will be meeting with the Ministry of People Empowerment and Elderly Affairs tomorrow to discuss how children whose parents are positive will be handled. In the meantime, he has appealed to the public to be more supportive of the national COVID-19 response.
So I am urging Barbadians and I'm asking Barbadians to understand the situation that we are in. You watch television and you see exactly what is happening all across the globe. We are trying our very best to make sure that we do as best we can for everyone. But sometimes there are going to be challenges. Sometimes there are going to be delays in being able to process people. All of these things must be expected when you are in a war zone, and we are in a COVID war zone. And so work with us and do not do things like that when you know you should not do what was done. But like I said, we are going to create a mechanism to be able to deal with these matters going forward.
Meanwhile, new COVID-19 infections spiked to 188 today from 1,746 tests conducted on Sunday. Of these new cases, 53 are in the 18 and underage category, and the other 135 are 18 years and older. One death was reported on Sunday, taking the death toll to 68. Overall, Barbados has recorded 7,764 confirmed cases of the viral illness since March 2020. To date, 37.7% of the population is fully vaccinated. In other news, the COVID-19 pandemic has caused a dramatic shift in the way travelers are thinking, and the Caribbean is well positioned to take advantage of the new trends. Thus, according to Canadian entrepreneur and founder of the renowned travel company G Adventures, Bruce Poon-Tip, who believes islands in the region provide many of the necessities that travelers are yearning for. He was delivering the keynote address at a webinar hosted by the Caribbean Tourism Organization in commemoration of World Tourism Day.
This conversation about mental health and well-being suddenly has become so important, because one thing that people haven't looked at closely are the impacts, the mental health impacts of these lockdowns that we've gone through over the last 18 months, and how it's changed people's thoughts about not only coming out within their own communities, but traveling again, and what they want in order to motivate them to travel again.
Poon-Tip also advised the region to push the concept of community tourism.
When you talk about community tourism, it is a much more, I would say, challenging form of travel, because it needs just more time. It needs to be planned. It needs to be invested in over long periods of time. But the benefits are certainly the reward, and at the same time, you'll also see that in the future, the traveler is going to demand that. So there's been a one-way conversation for a very long time when it comes to tourism, where we build these amazing resorts, or these compound resorts with all kinds of facilities and amenities, and we push the idea out to our consumers. And it's a one-way conversation. But now that conversation is two-way, and the customer is demanding different things and wants a return to what they call, experiential travel.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional news in Guyana, the COVID-19 pandemic is putting a strain on the local healthcare system, and there's concern that if the surge in new infections continue, healthcare workers will be under severe pressure.
Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony recently told the newsroom that the health authorities have been extending the capacity of the National Infectious Diseases Hospital, which is the Ocean View Hospital, at Liliendal, Georgetown. A new oxygen system has been installed and additional beds have been put in place at this hospital, which is a specialized COVID-19 treatment center. Head of Medical Services at the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, Dr. Mahendra Karpan, in a recent interview with the newsroom, agreed, but said that there are other factors to consider.
We have not reached a stage, and hopefully we never get to a stage where we overwhelm our physical infrastructure. We still have a lot of elasticity in the system. What our main challenge may be is the human resource component. We are quite, satisfactorily positioned with consumables, bed spaces, etc. But we have planned, we have had a program in place.
Dr. Karpan, who also heads the cardiology department of the hospital and has oversight for the Ocean View Hospital, also highlighted that healthcare workers are already under immense strain to provide care to patients.
On the international front, R. Kelly was convicted by a federal jury on Monday in his sex trafficking trial, where prosecutors accused the R&B singer of exploiting his stardom over a quarter century to lure women and underage girls into his orbit for sex. Attorney Gloria Allred spoke to reporters after the verdict.
I have been practicing law for 47 years. During this time, I have pursued many sexual predators who have committed crimes against women and children. Of all the predators that I have pursued, however, Mr. Kelly is the worst, for many reasons. First, he used the power of his celebrity to recruit vulnerable underage girls for the purpose of sexually abusing them. Second, he used the power of his business enterprise and many of his inner circle employees to assist him and enable him in his plan and his scheme to lure his victims to him, isolate them, intimidate them, control them, indoctrinate them, punish them, shame them, and humiliate them. Let this be a message to other celebrities who also use their fame to prey on their fans and others who are unfortunate enough to come into contact with them. You're also likely to face serious consequences for your criminal conduct. The issue is not if the law will catch up to you. The only question is when.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.